think it's very huge as Paul gives us these two verses. Verses 9 says this. And he said unto me, oh, this is good. This is good. Look to someone and say, this is good. Look at Bob. Say, this is good. This is good stuff. This is some good stuff. Brooke, just look at everybody and say, this is some good stuff. Okay. This is some good stuff, all right? Bob, this is good. Here we go. And he said unto me, now listen to what all God says. Some people stop and says, my grace is sufficient for thee. That ain't all God said. Listen. My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. That's what God said. That's good. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Verse 10 says this. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproach, in necessities, in persecution, in distress, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. All right, now, I don't have it up there, but the definition of product. Oh man, this is so good. Bob, this is good. All right. Product is defined as a thing produced by labor or effort. All right? You got it? A thing produced by labor or effort. Guess what? Christ labored when he was on the cross, and when he died, he put forth effort. Then when he died, he ushered in what? Grace into the world. Because it was through his dying on the cross and resurrection that there is grace now in this world. It is nothing that I've done. Grace has abounded. You know, a lot of times we forget grace, I think. What is God producing in our lives? He is producing power in our lives through whose grace? His grace. We have power through his grace. Today, if you have a home that you're going to go to in a little bit, you got food on the table, you're going to drive to that home, guess what? That is grace. That is because of his grace that we have a home to go to. It is because of his grace that I have a family. It is because of his grace that I have a beautiful wife, wonderful kids. It is because of his grace that I have a wonderful family. It is because of his grace that we here are today worshiping and learning about Christ. It is because of his grace and nothing I did. That is why I should be and we should be point men and point women to Jesus, because of his grace. I think so many times we forget about grace. There is power in our lives through the thorns of life because of what God can do. You know what made Paul? What truly made Paul? Remember the first step? On the road to Emmaus, he saw Christ, fell to the ground, he was blind for 3 days. What made Christ was his suffering, was the thorns in his life. That's what made him stronger. You remember he was beaten and left for dead? I think he was beaten, I don't know how many times, like 3 or 4 times, bad with rods. Paul, suffering, helped him to be the man that he is. And it was because of God's grace. When he hurt, when he was suffering, it was because of what God did. Great definition of grace. Great and simple definition. Favor and goodwill. Favor or goodwill. That is a great definition of grace. I don't know about you, but I am so thankful today that God has favor on me. That God has goodwill on me. It is because of his grace that I am able to live. Grace is the product that God is producing in our lives. He is producing that power that's helping us to sustain every single day. Grace is mentioned some 155 times in the New Testament, and it needs to be mentioned often. Not only in the Bible, but in our lives. You know, a lot of times I catch myself complaining about different things in life, and I need to be praising God because he gives me the grace to live another day. He gives me the grace that I'm able to breathe another day. He gives me the grace that I'm able to be stronger today than I was yesterday. It is nothing that I've done. Again, we're all point men and point women to Christ. It's because of his grace. His grace.